Okay, so this is my reflection over my 4-week progress report over my project of DSLR and cinematography. So my goal for this project was to be able to learn how to use different lights with different shots and angles and use my own camera, which is the Olympus MD10 Mark II, which is a mirrorless camera. Just to improve my cinematography and photography abilities, along with using lights, and I also use equipment like dollies and tripods, just to further my education and learn from myself and my mistakes. So this is a video. The end result is a video of different shots that I've done, but instead of just making it random shots that I just do on the whim, I made a short video of them all put together, and it has a central theme of just memories that we make in the time that we're given. So it's like moments of memories that we make. And it's just different shots that I took with some of my good friends, and I put them all into a video and just added a simple song over the top of it, which you will see the final video at the end. So I will first show my progress, or my plan for each progress week, and you can just read here that the first 2 weeks were basically notes and just getting my shot list and film ideas together, and my third week was filming and doing different clips. Fourth was making the final video, and then putting together my presentation in this video. The only mistakes I had with my project plan is I spent a ton of time researching, watching tutorials, which are great. There are some amazing tutorials out there, but I spent too much time trying to see what different people did and thinking that I had to mimic exactly that. But really, you just have to go out there and experiment on your own. Make your own shots, do your own lighting, do all that, and don't try to just watch someone else do it while you're sitting there making no progress on your own project, which I learned, and it didn't really, I stayed on track, but I filmed into my last week, and it was hard because I had to film a lot on the weekends just due to my two friends and I's schedule, and filming at golden hour, which if you are in cinematography, photography, you know a lot about that, how crucial that lighting is. So yeah, of course it's just scheduling and finding time, but of course just it isn't a great idea to watch different people and learn from what they're trying to teach you in tutorials and just different things that you can research, but don't get caught up in trying to make your own look like that, or thinking that you have to do it that certain way, which it sounds different to me, because if someone was saying that to me, I wouldn't really understand what that meant, but just coming right off of that, and I would just really push to just go out there and just take your own, which sounds so cliche, but that was the one thing that I wish I would have done different, is not being so indecisive and trying to mimic other people's, but making my own shots and just doing it, not on a whim, because that's not very responsible or mature, but just being less focused on trying to make it perfect, I guess, because photography and cinematography is definitely far from that. So then I made my shot list, which I could go into a lot of detail with. I used to have these in order of my shots, but then I changed the order so much that it took too much effort to try to change this order then once I was finished. And so basically I just have the lighting, the place, the angle, and the movement, and some of the camera settings for each shot that I did here. But for camera setting, it depends a lot on the setting that you're in and what your scenery is around you, what the lighting is like. So I couldn't really write that in these boxes because I wasn't for sure until I got in that situation. So yeah, you can just look at that. This was my pretty much everything that I based it off of. And of course I deleted, I think, about half or about 10 shots from this list. It used to be a little less organized than this. But then I either didn't end up using those shots, or I didn't even film the shots just because they weren't ideas that I wanted to go off of. But this is just my finalized shot list, as I've said multiple times already. And I have different camera movements so I can refresh my memory. Yeah, there's so much that I could talk about this and just why I did it this way, but I will move on to my notes for learning about my DSLR camera. This is one of my first weeks that I did this. And I won't go into a lot of this because there's so many better notes than this, and I'm not trying to teach you anything about DSLR or mirrorless cameras as my camera is, which is basically just a more condensed version of a DSLR camera. But this is just to show you my steps into making my project. And so I just took simple notes, which I knew a ton about already. Like I said maybe before, I have done a lot with photography, but not as much with cinematography. So it was just reviewing pretty much what I already knew, learning a couple new things, and just refreshing my own mind so I can really jump into the project full force. I also watched this DSLR guide and his videos. He's amazing. He's not very old. Maybe this is him right here, early 20s, and he's phenomenal. All these videos I've watched that says that I've watched them, he's very good. He knows what he's talking about. He makes it easy to understand, and he shows you the best way to do things so that you can better improve yourself. And this is pretty much all the tutorials I watched. I watched a couple more, but I didn't really do a whole lot with those. I just watched them and then went back to these because these were so good. And I really wish that I want to continue my career in cinematography and just fun in that, like he does, and try different things like this color grading and just different diffuse lighting and just all that jazz. And then this was also, while I'm over here, I'll show you, this was my inspiration for my video, which is just a video of random shots and just memories that we make. It's about to buffer. Which is my inspiration just of my random clips and just how life is full of moments of memories. So yeah, shout out to this guy, whoever he is, made a pretty good video. I'd recommend watching it. I will show this. I would say my biggest or my most hard thing with this project was lighting, because I had never done it before and I was just kind of throwing myself into it, which is what you're supposed to do with a 4-week project. But it's definitely the thing that I learned the most of, and I'm so pleased with what I've learned, even though some of my products weren't the best or as good as I would have liked them, as they never are. I definitely can continue and carry those over into other projects that I do in the future. So, which was my main goal for this, and the thing I'm most proud of is that I can take each individual aspect that I have learned kind of throughout the years and put it all together into one central place, like cinematography and just filmmaking, which I get inspired so much to do, and which I just love doing because it's so amazing and so creative. You get to use all your brain power and juices and all that jazz. So that was very cool to see my skill set being put into a final presentation, even though as amateurly done it is, and short and just not great. So these are just different shots that I took. This is an example of the dolly that I used. So this is just showcasing each skill set that I learned throughout the process. This is just panning. Oh, sorry. Panning right. I just don't want that extra noise. Hard thing with tripods is that they like to stick when you're trying to pan. So that was a problem I had with this shot, but I eventually got it right about the 5th time. Perspective. Just pretty simple. This is different shots and angles. Bird's eye view, which is looking down on your subject from above. Bug's eye view, which is looking below your subject, up at your subject, and later in the shot you'll see that I focus in on the subject, but you'll see that in the final video. And then these are just different light setups that I had. I won't go into full detail, but this is just explaining where I place my light, and I'll say I placed it behind my subject in this shot because, I mean, it's not focusing on the front of their head, but on the back, so I wanted their hair to be more lit, and there are the lights above and the lights on the ceiling, but the lights above didn't do a whole lot, but were more for decorative use, which they didn't even get in the shot. That's okay. So yeah, I did it behind the subject and behind the couch to get it on the way I wanted. This is kind of a complicated one because amazing. You just got to know how to use your ISO and your aperture and your shutter speed and all of that fun stuff, and you'll have beautiful looking photos. But I mean, I was never happy. You can always make it better, which is the fun and cruel thing about photography. So now I will show my final project.
Break the rise and fall. Gonna feel it all. I wanna feel it all. Let the rise and fall. Gonna feel it all. I wanna feel it all. Oh, 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 eyes away, particle cell. You could call it what you like, could call it love. See it as a fight or as a game. You could call it circumstance or call it magic. These are the days we've been given. What will you do with each of them? What will you do with your own wild life? Break the rise and fall. Gonna feel it all. I wanna feel it all. Love the rise and fall. Gonna feel it all. I wanna feel it all. Oh,
that was my final project. I would just recommend to you guys, these are all my shots, sorry, but I still have in this folder. It's just to take the advice of others and do watch tutorials, but go out and start taking your own shots. That's what really counts, and that's what will help you improve and progress in your photography and filmmaking and everything you do. So just go out there, have fun, and start making amazing shots and films.